Hello again, everyone. Welcome back to the Opening Bell and the latest in our prospect series with Reese Lynch as we delve into the business of boxing and what it's like to be a young fighter coming through the game. It's a few months, I think October, November, since the last time we checked in with Reese. So here we are, the early part of the new year. How are you, pal?
Yeah, I'm good. I'm good. Training away usual. Just getting ready again.
Yeah, and getting ready because you've got a date now. Now, initially, it was going to be that Capiel bill in January 10th, which, looking at the atmosphere, would have been a fantastic experience. That was
Yeah.
raucous, wasn't it? How did that fall through?
Um, I'm not too sure how it fell through, to be honest. Just obviously my brother and my manager and stuff got speaking to Lee Eaton, so they kind of, I don't really know too much of the ins and outs of it, but they basically had to pull me from that card. I'm not too sure if it was probably just boxers that they wanted to get on it and boxers that they needed to get out before me maybe. Um, but they kind of they pulled me off that and then gave me this Derby show on the 28th of February instead. So a bit frustrating at the time because you're looking to get paid and you're looking to also keep advancing in your career, but not nothing like detrimental. Just a month, an extra month to train.
How did that make you feel for a few days?
A bit annoying, but it wasn't too bad because I knew that I had a date in place. And they were telling me it was definitely going to be this date, so I knew that I was still going to get out pretty sharpish. Just obviously an extra bit of waiting.
And so, how much is that sort of giving you an insight into the business and what it's like for a busy promoter like Queensberry? I suppose you're having to learn a bit of that as you go along quite quickly.
Yeah, it's tough. I mean, I've had a few now since I signed where I've been given a date and then I've started training for it and then I've kind of had to sit back a bit, like kind of pull back on the training and then re-ramp it again because the dates have changed and stuff like that. So I'm getting used to it now. I think it's inevitable really, especially because obviously Queensberry's got a lot of boxers signed to them and they've got obligations to different boxers as well where they need to, like, it's not just me that's got that same contract. There will be other boxers that have got 5 fight a year deals and stuff like that, and they need to be getting these guys out to fulfill the contract. So I can see where I'm coming from, being obviously a busy promoter, and I can see why some people would have to get out before me. So but obviously it's frustrating as well when you start training and then you need to come back off training and then start back training again. You start going into camps and then coming back out of camps and then you're back into camps. It feels like you're never out of camp. It feels like you're constantly training hard all the time. But
So
used to it.
yeah, getting used to it quite quickly. So you're, as well as us getting a good glimpse in the business, you're having to learn fast on the ropes as well. So you're having to two things there. You're having to learn how to deal with things mentally. How are you coping? How are you finding the tools and the ways to do that?
Just kind of obviously through obviously my brother and training anyway. I'll always be in the gym, so it's not like I'm, going into the gym and then coming back out of the gym and like staying away from it anyway. I'll always be in the gym, and it's all about learning all the time. So I prefer to just stay in the gym. Maybe after a fight, take a couple of weeks off, and then be back straight in anyway. So it's not like I'm doing anything out of the ordinary by, like still training anyway. I'd still be training hard, but it's obviously when you go into camp and I start doing like conditioning that's meant to be for the start of camp, and then you have to back off and then you go back into that conditioning. So we do max efforts and conditioning. So we do boxing science and stuff do it as well. I do it with my strength conditioning coach Grant Easton. But it's like max efforts, 30 seconds on the bike, 3 minutes off, flat out as fast as you can go for the 30 seconds. And it's fucking horrible. And starting
Yeah.
them and then finishing them and then having to start them for the start again is like, it's a nightmare.
So mentally, you're learning how to cope with that, and I suppose with the gym and the training stuff, you rely on your brother Peter and everybody else to work out when to push, when to pull,
Yeah.
and in terms of days off, do you just have a set routine? Do you? How does that work, or does it change according to to whether fights fall through or whatever?
Usually it's just kind of set routine. So if I'm in camp, it'll be usually Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. So I'll be training two days, twice a day. Usually them days. I think Monday, Tuesday, definitely twice. So conditioning on a Monday, boxing on the Monday night, and then it'll be like on the Tuesday, I'll do strength, and I'll do then my boxing at night. Wednesday will just be boxing. Thursday I'll have my conditioning. No, strength in the morning. So it's busy. I'm constantly busy. Like it's always set. Like the routine's always set for my week. But then like outside of camp, it won't be as consistent. I'll still be consistent, but it'll be like Monday, Wednesday, Friday in the gym rather than the Tuesday and stuff like that. Obviously, in camp with sparring, it can change as well. Like if you might be training, you might get sparring. You might only be able to get sparring on the Thursday that week, so you have to kind of move your days about and stuff like that. So it just depends in camp. But outside the camp, it's just kind of like Monday, Wednesday, Friday, staying in the gym, keep moving, and then it kind of ramps up in camp.
You've just been sparring this week. In fact, yesterday, as it happens, we're talking on a Saturday morning. You're going to go to the gym just before lunchtime to go training again. Is Sunday a day off?
Yeah, Sunday's a day off. Yeah.
Sunday is the day of rest. So yeah, so I'm speaking to you on Saturday morning. You were down south yesterday for a few days sparring Pierce O'Leary, who's
Yeah.
been a European lightweight champion. He's got a big fight coming up in March, early March anyway. So he's I suppose on a similar kind of training path. So I suspect it was a relatively match fit. He fought in December, didn't he? So it was probably quite a sharp O'Leary that you
Yeah.
sparred the other day.
Yeah, so I went down sparring them last week as well. Sparred them last Friday, sparred them this Friday. I'm looking to be going down next Friday as well, and then he's looking to get me out to Dublin for a week before my fight, just kind of in preparation for him for Mark Chamberlain. So it's really good rounds. It's rounds that I kind of. It's hard because up in Scotland you don't get them kind of rounds really much. Like that kind of quality guys. He's fringe world title level, so it's like getting them rounds. You just take them when you can, especially when you're up here. You need them, they kind of rounds to grow as well, get better. So like, it was good because on last Friday it was good rounds, but he's powerful and he's quick, and he can punch, he can whack. So it's like the last Friday it was hard rounds, but good rounds, still a good spar. And then me and Ped kind of took stuff to the gym that I was doing maybe wrong or stuff that I could improve on, and took it down this week, and then it was 10 times better again this week. So it's actually good to see stuff that we've been working on putting it into practice and sparring, and it actually working as well, especially with someone top caliber like him.
Yeah, it shows how committed you've got to be, how much time, work, and effort you got to put in, and the expense as well, because you got to, you're traveling down south, you got to stay in a hotel for a couple of nights. It's a big commitment.
Yeah, definitely is. Especially for people like my brother as well, because he works, so he's taking days off to come down and kind of come with me and progress my career. And he's losing out on money when he does. So Pierce is good though. He'll pay you, like he'll give you like a little sum for coming down and sparring as well. So it's not like you're doing it for nothing. And he's good that way. He's actually a really, really nice lad, and like that way. Like yesterday, when I was leaving, because we had to kind of get away a bit early, and he's said to me like, give me your bank details, and then he sent me a message when I've been driving home, like send me the bank details. So he's like on it as well. He doesn't. It's like he wants to pay you. It's mad.
Yeah, well, it's good. That's how it should be, isn't it?
Yeah.
That's how it should be. And in terms of the sparring there, how many rounds, say last weekend of January, how many rounds did you do then? How many rounds did you do this time?
So I done 8 last week, and I done 8 this week as well. I think probably look at doing 10, maybe next week or something like that. And then I think in Dublin he's got I think he's got like other sparring partners as well, so it'll maybe be like a few in, a few out, kind of mixing it in with these other sparring partners. So he's got someone coming in fresh for his kind of fight.
How much in those 2 spars you've had with him so far, how much of that is just you helping him work on what he wants to work on, and how much is it you and Peter able to sort of work on and implement some of the things that you're thinking about?
To be fair, it's probably more us working on like implementing stuff that we want to work on. I think because obviously he's fighting, Pierce is fighting Mark Chamberlain in his next fight for the IVO, so he's like, I'm kind of sort of like a good kind of style for that anyway. Southpaw, I'm long, I'm tall, I'm rangy. Obviously Mark Chamberlain's the same. I've got good feet and stuff as well, so it's good rounds for Pierce, and I can kind of work on what I need to work on as well. I'm putting, like, from last week, me and Ped went back and we seen what I could have done better, kind of stuff to work on, and then we implemented it this week, and it was like night and day compared to last week. So it's good because Pierce is actually getting like what he needs from me anyway, just for my style and the way I box, and I get to also implement stuff that I'm learning stuff from him and learning what I need to develop on, because he's class compared to like some other spars. You can go in, you can get away with what you want, but like Pierce, you don't want to be taking big shots from, or if he hits you, it hurts. Like, and that's what I said to Ped last week. Like, it's weird because I've never actually felt someone in sparring like that, where every punch feels like it felt like his hands feel like they've got bricks in them. Like, that's the way to describe it. Like, every punch is solid, so you don't really want to be taking them. So like for last week, I was taking them kind of cold blooded, kind of going square on the ropes and stuff like that. And then me and Ped worked on other different things for this week, and like the shots, riding the shots and glancing the shots, you're not feeling them as much. And landing my own shots as well and getting my own success. So it's good for him and it's good for me, but especially good for me at my stage of like this stage of my career. I need to be in with people like that to keep developing, or you kind of just go stagnant.
Yeah, really interesting, really interesting. And are they filming that, or do you film it yourselves?
No filming. I don't think they film me either, to be fair.
Right.
So it was just kind of memorising.
Yeah. So Peter making sort of mental notes and saying,
Yeah.
right, we need to. Yeah, fair enough. Interesting. And he's quite a sort of strong upper body fighter, O'Leary, isn't he? It looks like he does hit, as you've said. Did you have to tweak your style, because what we've seen in your first couple of fights, you've been happy enough to fight at that sort of range where you're either in the pocket or just on the outside of it. What sort of style were you implementing in those spars, and did that change?
So same kind of style, same the way I boxed. Like usually the way I box and stuff like that. We worked on getting more side on, because when he was backing me up on the ropes, I'd maybe go square, and I was giving him too much openings for being square. I was showing him too much of my body, and every kind of shot he was throwing, he throws in flurries and bursts. So like when he presses you, he'll let his hands go like 2, 3, 4 shots, fast and powerful. So it's kind of like working on getting more side on, better shape, especially when he backs me up to the ropes rather than turning square and taking the shots. Like, I was more side on, and I could shoulder roll, use a shoulder roll, kind of twisting and stuff like that a bit better to stop that. But my usual style, kind of picked up a bit from the likes of like Shakur Stevenson at the weekend, and like obviously Terence Crawford's really good at it as well. But you don't realise how easy you can make stuff for yourself when you use distance control. Like, you don't need to be there standing training with someone that can punch, that can whack like fuck. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's good. It's good because we kind of worked on it in the gym. So we got back obviously for sparring last week. Worked on all these things in the gym, and then I went in on Friday, and like all of it was like working. It was working. Still a great spar, obviously, but like you can see like what we were working on working, and it's like good to see that. Puts a lot. What's the word I'm looking for? It makes you feel good when you see these things working.
Yeah, yeah, the little improvements.
Yeah,
Little
yeah,
incremental improvements. It's interesting you mentioned Shakur there, because obviously the other weekend we had with Shakur really shutting down, almost outclassing Teo Lopez,
yeah,
and you had Josh Kelly winning a world title, another British world title on the titleist on the back of Dalton Smith, who's in your weight division, winning out in America as well. So there's been lots of good stuff to sort of reflect on and talk about, and I think with significance to you as well, because if you look at, there's loads of different ways to use your feet, isn't there? And I
yeah,
think at the weekend, feet and distance, if you watch the Josh Kelly performance, I'm not criticizing Kelly, but it's a different way of using your feet, much more movement, much more exaggerated, much more
sure.
back to the ropes. You look at Shakur, how he makes Teo Lopez fall short and miss without necessarily exaggerated or noticeable movements. So I'm wondering how you could you kind of incorporate some of that into what it is that you want to become.
Yeah, so obviously Josh Kelly moves a lot, probably unnecessary movements. Like he done brilliant, but he moves a lot, and it works. But it probably takes a lot of a lot out of you. Shakur does it so flawless, and so he makes boxing look easy, um, which is ridiculous. But he makes it look like it's fucking like a walk in the park for him.
Yeah, yeah.
Few
How
people
much
look brilliant, and he
how
makes
much
them
of that
look
how
like
much of that is just purely footwork? How much is it is just slight angles with the head and the body as well?
yeah. So like obviously it's just all small movements that he does all the time. And Terence Crawford was brilliant at it as well. Obviously both kind of in the same stable and stuff like that. Um, or they're like mates, like they work together and stuff like that. So watching the two of them, well, I've been watching a lot of them recently as well. The way that they move, the way that they use their kind of decoys with their hands, small steps to the side, like just to throw someone off. Um, like you can use your movement, but you don't need to be moving loads to kind of throw someone off. And like Shakur, it's just small, simple moves every time. Or they might not be simple, but he makes them look simple. And he makes boxing look easy. He makes people like Teofimo Lopez is world class, and he made him look average.
Mhm. Yeah. When you going back to sparring, when you in terms of mindset, what is your mindset? Are you comfortable enough because of your amateur experience? You've got a lot to draw on. Are you fairly comfortable before you're going to those first spars, say with Pierce O'Leary? You know, it's a big step up against a
Yeah.
fighter who's right on the cut. Are you fairly relaxed about that, or do you get a bit anxious, a bit agitated, a bit nervous, or like you would do, say, before a fight?
I'm not too bad. I'm usually pretty fine because I know obviously like what I've done and what I'm capable of and stuff like that, and how I can perform. But um, obviously once I got in the ring and I felt his punch, I was like, this is a bit this is a bit different for like what I've ever been in before with. Um, I've never really been in with anyone that can like hit like that. Like every punch felt um, it was every punch felt solid, like rather than like maybe like pop, but like a whippy shot or whatever. Um, like every shot, if you got hit by it, it was like fuck, like that's heavy.
Mhm.
So I've never really been in with anybody like that. But as it goes on, like you kind of get used to it and stuff like that. And obviously, like from this week to next week, like I was confident in like what we had worked on, me and Ped, and I was just kind of excited to get in there and try it, to see if it would work, and then seeing it pay off as well. Like it's class. So it's just kind of like excitement, really excitement to try these new things and like see what we've been working on and how it's improved me, and it was good to see that actually it did improve. Do you know what I mean?
And also good to get that early lesson, because I know sort of Barry Jones, friend of the pod, friend of mine, obviously former world champion and commentator on DAZN. He often talks about when, you know, the heavy hitters, when they hit you, it can really cause even momentary panic in a
Yeah,
fighter, or more widespread panic. And you know, you've been in with a European champion. There might be world champions, or there might be those elite A-listers who take that power to a whole new level where it almost seems unbelievable. So it's good to get an early glimpse of and taster of that, and the experience to know that you can deal with it and manage it maybe in those moments. But also with the smaller gloves on in a fight, it's another thing entirely as well. So that's quite an interesting experience early on, isn't it? Because there could be other levels. There will be other levels.
yeah, yeah. It's interesting. It's like it's kind of mad to like see the different levels of like power. Like I've been in with boys that you can like do what you want. You're not really worried about getting hit. Whereas I went in with him and I was like, fuck, like, I don't want to be hitting. I don't want to be getting hit with many of these. But then like it's good to also see the ways you can, like, last week I was probably taking a lot of heavy shots. Like every shot felt heavy. This week, just for what we had worked on, I was able to kind of negate a lot of the power as well. Obviously some shot, like if he lands, it's still heavy because he's naturally just heavy-handed. He can punch. But like, seeing the changes and the way he changing how to box, and how just like it can take away you can negate someone's power by doing certain things, and just it's just being clever. Like I can get caught in maybe standing there too long and try to have a slugfest with someone that you don't need to have. So it was good to see that now as well. Like you don't need to be taking damage if you don't need to. There's no point. There's no point in taking quote hard full body shots for someone that like you really don't need to if you just box clever. So like, it's actually it's good because obviously like talking about Shakur, he's one of the best at it, and he says the same, like it's the art of boxing, hit and don't get hit. And a lot of people say he's boring, but it's not boring if you know what you're looking for, and you enjoy that. It's not boring. It's genius. Do you know what I mean?
Absolutely right. And we had a little bit of this discussion, me and Matt, on the pod last week, talking about Shakur's performance and his brilliance, and we really, you know, appreciated it and loved it. I did ask Matt the question: could he do more? Should he do more? Does he need to do more? And I'm talking more maybe in the eyes of the fans, in the eyes of the the viewers, and maybe also just in terms of his own kind of marketability and
Yeah,
box office appeal, because you feel Matt thinks he's got gears to go through, and he could just do that extra little bit.
yeah, yeah. He probably could as well, because he's different level. He's he could. He's yeah, he's different class. So it's it's weird. It's a weird one. Like he maybe could do more and like blow these guys out, but he doesn't need to. Like he's winning fights and coming out looking like he's not even been in a fight. He's fresh. You know, he just doesn't take any risks when he doesn't need to. And sometimes it can be like going out and stopping someone in that. And it looks good and it's brilliant for the fans, but what he done to Teofimo Lopez, like he made Teo look average, and Teo's amazing. He made him look average. He was falling over his feet. He was jumping in, and sometimes I think that's even better. Like the way he schooled him. He schooled Teofimo Lopez, made him look like bang average. He made him look like a novice at times, and it was just like impressive the way that his distance and stuff like that can do that to someone. Like just how perfect he is at that, and then he doesn't need to do it anymore because he's just like he's pinging boys.
So you'd be happy to be that kind of boxer if you could produce those kind of performances.
yeah, if I was making someone that's won world titles and like, he's obviously had a great career and he's made him look average just by like schooling him. Do you know what I mean? Like I'd love to get stoppages. Um, it's different kind of class as well. Like making someone that good look that average, if you know what I mean. Obviously, you want to stop boys that maybe like you should be stopping, like you want to be stopping them kind of guys. But I just found it really impressive how he made Tio look like, and Tio's class. I love Teofimo's style, but he just Shakur made him look average, and it just it's actually mind blowing, like
Yeah.
how good Shakur is. Do you know what I mean? So like, I think that
How
he's getting away with that by just how classy he makes himself look. Obviously, like fans, like maybe like your casual fans and stuff like that, are expecting like knockouts and stuff like that. But when you look at it and you look at it in depth and how, like, if you're looking at it for like my side of you or like a boxer side of you, Ped's side of you, like the way that he just um, the way he negates himself and works himself and how classy he looks is impressive enough, to be fair.
Yeah, well, it didn't harm Mayweather, did it, in the second half of
Yeah.
his career? Even although some boxing fans weren't necessarily sold by it. How inspirational seeing Dalton Smith, the guy who's in your weight class, go win a world title away. Obviously, Josh Kelly just more recently as well, winning a world title as well. How does that, as a sort of as a fellow Brit, as someone from the UK, how does that make you feel?
Yeah, it's good. It's good seeing obviously other Brits winning these world titles, especially Dalton Smith. I thought he put on a brilliant performance. Um, he actually kind of dogged that. It's Matthias, isn't it? He
Yeah.
kind of he kind of dogged him at the start. Um, so that's kind of like the polar opposite of Shakur Stevenson, because he's went in, and that Matthias is known for being come forward, tough, strong, and Dalton Smith basically just went in there and said, "You're not doing that to me." Like,
Yeah.
just kind of stood with him firefight, and obviously discredited that. Um, Matthias kind of made him feel like this guy's not going anywhere, and then he caught him with a shot. Dalton Smith, kind of special, heavy-handed, um, long kind of backhand, great shot. And I thought Dalton looked class. And I'm actually chuffed for him and his dad as well, because they've done it. They've done it the proper way. Um, they've done this class to see like that kind of father and son bond, and obviously getting to where he's got and winning the title the way he did. It's class.
He's not. You've not shared a ring with him at all.
No, I've never sparred him, never been in with him or that. But I like his style, I like his work. And he's a great boxer.
Yeah, very good, very impressive, very impressive. Just on sparring generally, because you and I just you talked about why to get hit when you don't want to get hit. When
Yeah,
there's a big hitter in there, you shouldn't get hit, and all of those lessons. But in a more general sense, you and I were talking very briefly off air about, the damage that boxing can do, and maybe how cute, thoughtful, clever you've got to be about managing your career, but also managing how you spar. How much of that have you thought about? How much of that do you just leave to your brother and Peter to arrange?
yeah. So I just kind of leave it to my brother. I know that like Ped doesn't have me sparring a lot anyway. Um, Kind of just where we need it. Obviously, I'm doing quite a bit of rounds with Pierce O'Leary this camp, which is kind of good as well, because I think come like from where we are, like where we're from, and obviously up in Scotland, it's hard to get world class sparring up here. So Pierce O'Leary is the perfect, because he's obviously fighting Mark Chamberlain. He's the perfect opportunity to get these world class rounds. So it's bringing me on a lot. Like I'm learning so much from it, so it's worth it. But like kind of for fights and stuff like that, I'm doing 6 rounders, so I don't really need to be doing like 10 rounds and stuff like that. But it's good at this time for the experience, just because of obviously who it is with. But like pedal, I'll not spar any other time next week. I've been sparring with, like this week I done on Monday I done rounds with Luke Bibby as well, and then obviously I done the sparring on yesterday, but kind of on Monday as well it was kind of just used to work on stuff that we were going to try at this Friday, and I got a new head guard as well, so kind of to help with stuff like that, just trial and stuff, but yeah, just leave it with Ped. Like he won't have me sparring too much anyway. He's not a big like believer in loads of sparring. As long as you're getting the right amount of rounds at the right time. That was a tongue twister there. That's hard to say. But also it's like you're going in there and you're working on things as well. So obviously we're like a lot of boxers will go in and a lot of coaches will go sparring and they'll think about like winning the rounds and winning the spar, but you kind of need to come away from that mindset and use it to work on. Like you're using it to work on stuff and to practice stuff rather than going in there to win a spar, because it's just stupid, isn't it?
Sounds like the right approach. Exactly the right approach. And it'll be interesting for you next week when you go back, again, having sort of fine-tuned and tweaked
Yeah,
first to second spar, now second to third. That's going to be, it's quite sort of exciting in a way, isn't it?
it's good. It's interesting as well because now Pierce will be going and he'll be tweaking stuff as well. So it's just like everybody.
Exactly.
It's like working on different.
Exactly. Exactly, and exactly like fights are round to round. You
Yeah,
know, you've got a chance to improve, be better, change things. They've got an opportunity to use Plan B, and so on and so forth. That's ever it was. So yeah, that's definitely at play, isn't it?
yeah, it's good. It's good, and it'll be exciting going back and then working on different other things as well. Like there's still stuff that we took from this spar that we can work on for the next spar and stuff like that. It's good. It's good because obviously it's like it's a competitive spar and it's hard sparring, but everybody's working on game plans, and it's not like you're just going in there to batter each other. There's different stuff that you're working on. He's working on stuff that obviously he's got a fight coming up, so he's got different tactics that he wants to implement against Chamberlain, which he'll probably be implementing in me. And then obviously I'm just learning from it, and I'm trying to implement stuff that just for in general what works better for me going on in my career.
How much of that this sparring arrangement was that just made between you and your two teams, or was it helped by the Queensbury link up?
So it was made between me and the teams. So I think my brother, I actually think it was David, my manager, that had messaged my brother about Pierce because obviously I had this fight coming up. I'm sure I was meant to spar Pierce before, but it never came about. I don't know if it was maybe for his last fight, and then it came about this kind of camp because it's perfect for him as well. Like me being southpaw, and it's perfect for me. It's always going to be perfect for me in my career. So it was through like my brother and my manager that the sparring kind of got arranged. I think David, my manager, got in touch with Pierce because I'm pretty sure he knows Pierce. And then through that, everybody got talking. Like my brother obviously started talking to Joe McNally as well and stuff like that. So just through the teams, really.
And you mentioned a new head guard there. Of course, last time we spoke to you, because of a head clash in your previous fight in October, you actually had suffered a very mild concussion. First of all, how's that been, and what's the story with the head guard?
Yeah, it's been good. It's fine now. I've not had any problems, no sore heads or anything like that. Feeling good. So it's good to obviously it can kind of be worrying at the time, but now that I've had hard rounds in sparring and can be getting hurt in sparring, but it's fine. Like I've not had any um, sore heads, so that's good. And we got a new head guard as well. So I've always wore an open face head guard. I've tried on cheek head guards. I kind of thought it like stopped my vision too much, just with the cheeks. But when you're doing 8 and 10 and 12 rounds with the high class people, I think you kind of just from marking up injuries, burst noses, stuff like that, anything that can prevent it will help, especially when you're getting paid for, like, if I go in and get a cut, and then I can't fight in 2 weeks, it's tough, because then you're not, you want to get paid, and you don't want to be stopping that from getting cuts and injuries. So me and my brother obviously spoke about getting a head guard. Pierce O'Leary wears the nose bar one. He's got a women's nose bar one. So I've kind of been looking at them anyway, but the hit and move head guards, they do like a nose bar one, but they've obviously, in a few of the nose bar ones, the vision's really small and narrow, but they've got like a wide big, or it seems like a wide big gap. So I went and got that head guard, thanks to Pierce as well, because he gave me some money for sparring, which helped me get the head guard. So thank you to Pierce, his money got put to decent use. But yeah, so I was looking at trying one of them hit and move head guards for a while. Went in, seen Ross at seconds out, got one, tried it on and stuff like that. I thought, this seems alright. Put it on and sparring with Bibby, and sure enough, it's really good. It's weird, because like like I said, you feel like a lot of the nose bar and the cheek bars, the vision seems really narrow, but it just seems like such a big gap. It's a really innovative design for hit and move. It's really good, really good head guard. So, and it helps because it's going to stop me getting injuries in these long spars, and like stop cuts and head clashes and burst noses, stuff like that. So it's probably worth it in the long run. I think as a pro, when you're doing them longer rounds, you do need to have one of them head guards just to protect your face and your everything that you need, everything that you need to fight.
Yeah, exactly right. Plan A, move your head. Plan B, get a better head guard. But I suppose it shows you, doesn't it, Reese, that as much as you're fine tuning your technique and your preparation and all of those things bit by bit throughout your career, even the kit, you've got to sort of fine tune that as well.
Yeah, definitely. Because I've always wore like an open face head guard, like the amateur ones, for sparring. I had a winnings one, but it didn't have the cheeks or nothing like that. I've always wore that just for kind of being a reaction fighter, and I felt like when I wore the cheek ones and stuff like that, I couldn't see. So it's actually, it's good to find something that works as well. And I've got to give it to Hit and Move. It's really good. It's really good. I tried on their cheek ones as well, but for some reason, like, I don't know what it is about the cheeks. They just kind of, I feel like they push up into your eyes and stuff like that. Whereas their nose bar one is mega, and then that just, it helps. Like, you're just kind of improving kit and improving styles, improving what you do all the time. You're always kind of looking to improve.
Well, that sounds exactly the business. And by the way, always on the lookout for new sponsors in the build up to fight. So if you want your name on Reese's t-shirt or trunks, as he will be fighting on the Owen Cooper Constantine Ursu fight on the 28th in Derby at the Valiant, that venue. Good venue, actually. That was interesting. That was the one for Fraser Clark against Jamie TKV, and it looks quite a funky venue, that. So that's Cooper against Durshu for the British and Commonwealth welterweight titles in Derby, 28th of Feb. Reese is going to be fighting on that bill. If you want to get your name on his trunks, your company, on his trunks or his t-shirt, then you can get in touch with him. Reese Lynch 2 on Twitter X, Reese Lynch 1 on Facebook, and on Instagram, Reese L7. I think I've got those right.
Yeah, it sounds about right.
Good. Sad news since the last time we spoke. The legend Ricky Hatton passed away. Obviously, Ricky had his sort of, he had his own demons, but what a career. Fought in your weight, of course, best in your weight at 140 pounds as well. That was really sad news. I suppose, like me and a lot of our listeners, Ricky would have been a kind of hero and a legend for us coming through, growing up and following the sport.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, he was a legend, and everybody loved him for how he was outside the ring as well. He was a gentleman, and obviously had his own demons. So it's sad and mad to think that someone that obviously everyone knew about his kind of demons and stuff like that, and like stuff that he faced, but he was such a cheery, like, funny guy as well. It's sad to obviously how he's just so young as well, and just such a shame. Everybody loved him. Like he was like a hero, wasn't he? In the sport, he was a legend. And it's a shame. All respect goes out to obviously him and his family and sons and stuff like that.
Yeah, very much so. Yeah, absolutely. Fan favorite, no doubt about that. Are you the start of a new year? Are you the kind of guy who makes New Year's resolutions, starts to think about plans and ambitions and boxing dreams?
Yeah, looking at plans and ambitions, not so much New Year's resolutions. I usually break them within the first week. Don't eat chocolate and stuff like that, and I'm fucked. But no, definitely looking at obviously goals and ambitions and plans going forward. Kind of stuff you want to see by the end of the year, and what you plan on doing, even like next year, for my second year of my contract and stuff like that. Just obviously starting to kind of tweak and think about what you're aiming for.
Yeah, because it's, your first two fights, 5 months separating them. This is going to be 4 months. So it's quite, normally when you're first starting out in your position, I know slightly different. You've come from the amateurs, you've got the experience. So maybe you can be moved a little differently, but you almost, in an ideal world, you'd be out every sort of couple of months.
Yeah, definitely. It's hard because it's been pretty obviously gappy. I'd like to be out every couple of months as well. Just because it's getting the experience, it's obviously different, and just kind of the sparring and stuff like that. It's implementing these different things into fights, and you want to be getting out as much as you can. So it's tough. It's hard now because obviously everything that's going on and how many boxers have got, and obviously the Arab Emirates, the Saudi Arabia stuff, and it's hard to get shows out here. So it would be good to go out. You're looking to get out more often, but obviously it's a different kind of landscape now.
Yeah, and I suppose it's not as if you can just sort of, I don't know, could sort of volunteer your services for small hole shows here or there as well. I suppose when you've got your contract and you've kind of got to suck it up and just wait and see how the landscape unfolds, unfortunately. But mindset wise, for the next few weeks, more sparring Pierce O'Leary, counting down to the 28th. What's the mindset now?
I'm just kind of looking forward to it now. Feeling good, obviously with a good sparring and seeing stuff working in sparring. I'm looking forward to getting in and showing my skills in the big stage.
And if anyone wants tickets, how do they go about that?
Either on Ticketmaster, there's tickets on Ticketmaster, or just to message me on Instagram, Resell7.
Beautiful. Top man, great to catch up again. Good to see you in Fine Fettle. Good to see you enjoying the sparring with Pierce O'Leary, and good luck again next week.
Thank you, Alex. Thank you very much. Thank you for having me.